So, hey, Jared,
Yes.
you ever done a food tour?
I don't think so.
I did my first one. I think we hadn't even talked about it on the pod earlier this year, a few months ago when I was in San Diego. I remember kind of stayed an extra day after. And,
San Diego.
yeah, and I was looking for something to do and found this food tour thing that I did there. It was like that one was a food history tour. So it was like the historic area downtown. And then it's like takes you 2-3 hours to do these things. It's because they teach you about the town, but then you go into like 4 or 5 different restaurants and they'll give you like a small portion of something and a cocktail to go along with it. And so they normally mix it up. So anyway, so I was just in Denver last week and we did the same thing. And I guess I didn't think about it then, but I did it at the end of the week, which was the mistake. And this is what I'm telling you all out there. If you go to a city and you know you're going to be there for a little bit, book the food tour like the first day or second day. Because what you find is it normally gives you some great options, places to eat. And,
right.
And I think in both cases, definitely Denver, the guy that was giving the tour would mention even some other restaurants, not the ones we were eating at, even though the ones that they picked.
And you didn't have time to go
and
check them out.
It was the last day. I was flying back the next morning. So
yeah.
So that's a recommendation.
Travel
do a food tour. It's fun. I mean, I guess if you're super introverted, maybe you wouldn't enjoy it as much, but like, cause you're there going around with a group of people.
So like me.
So you get to talk to those people and you get to know them a little bit and as well. And so, yeah, but it was highly recommend in general food tours. Hey, welcome back to Screen Time TV, a podcast where we discuss the latest streaming stuff and even dive deeper into certain episodes and shows. Currently, we are going to go through season 2 of Andor, kicking that off, first 3 episodes today. But also we talk about what we've been watching and internet's favorite game show, Based or Waste.
Mm-hmm.
But Jared, if I died tonight, was it worth it? This podcasting. You've done this before. You've podcasted before. You must have thought about it. Is it worth it?
That's the question.
So my name's Josh, for those that are new around here, and this is my co-host, Jared.
I think my quote is somewhat connected to yours, but I'll do it anyway. Josh, this makes it worth it. This, right now, being with you, being here at the moment you step into the circle. Look at me. You made this decision long ago. The Empire cannot win. You'll never feel right unless you're doing what you can to stop them. You're coming home to yourself. You become more than you fear. Let that protect you.
It is. That is the follow-up to mine.
All right. I thought so. I was
So
like,
you
that
should have
sounds
changed
right.
it to the YouTube algorithm instead of the Empire.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, because I thought about putting podcasts in there, but yeah, that is the real enemy, is the YouTube algorithm. That is the ultimate deity, the ultimate entity,
Yes,
if you will, which we'll talk about
shortly. So I don't think we have any feedback, do we?
No.
From last week? Okay, cool. Then let's get into what we're watching. Speaking of entity, we both saw Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in the theaters.
Theaters, yes.
Ethan Hunt and the IMF team continue their search for the terrifying AI known as the Entity. With the world's governments and a mysterious ghost from Ethan's past on their tail, joined by new allies and armed with the means to shut the Entity down for good, Hunt is in one is a race against time to prevent the world as we know it from changing forever.
That's pretty much every Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah, there's a lot in there that's yes. Yeah. But yeah, so Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. What'd you think?
I'll start out with the good.
Okay.
The set pieces in action were crazy good, like they always are. But yeah, and this one was, I mean, they always feel like they always have to up themselves every time. And it was just, yeah, that was amazing in this. Man, though, I was trying to figure out the best way to describe this, but the amount of exposition and quick cuts to flashbacks in this movie is ridiculous. And the other thing I was trying to think about is, I don't know if this happens in the other Mission Impossible movies, but the dialogue for a lot of these scenes, when there's many people in a scene, one person will say a sentence and then the next person will finish that sentence, and then the next person will say something else, and then the next person will finish that. It's so weird. And I was thinking, I'm like, do they do this in the other Mission Impossible movies? And I can't remember if they do. But that was also like a lot of the scenes, which I just thought was very strange. So overall, it was okay. But that was the main things I was just like, this is terrible how much they're doing this. And the dialogue just felt very weird at those times. But yeah, the exposition was the worst thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, well, you didn't ask you to rank them, but where would you put this? I know where I put this, but that's what I was about to say, but I'll see what you think.
There's 8. Is there 8 of them now?
I think so. Sounds right.
This would be like probably 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
So,
if 1 is the best,
oh,
8
okay.
is the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, this would be Mission Impossible 2 is probably the worst one.
Yep.
Still. I would like to revisit all of them.
I revisit.
Well, actually this might be 7 then, because I feel like the rest of them are all better.
That's where I'm at with it. I think 2 is the worst.
Sucks because this
2
is
the
like
worst, and then this is
okay, because it's supposed to be the
quote
ending
unquote
too.
probably
Right.
the end. No one's confirmed it's the end,
Right.
but it feels like it from a.
Also, we're gonna go to. I mean, there's not really much to spoil in this movie.
Sure,
I don't know if
spoil
we're
it.
gonna do
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything in particular. I just wanted to say if we were going to spoil it or not. But, okay.
So, I mean, I kind of think I'm on the same page, obviously on the same page of placement in the order. Because like I said, I think it's it's the second worst. Like, and
this is disappointing, especially if it being supposedly the final one.
And like, the 2 big action sequences were awesome.
Yeah.
But they were like, 15, 20 minutes of a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, this is also the longest Mission Impossible movie.
And then like otherwise, I think which hurt I this is the reason I didn't like even the part 1 of this
Dead Reckoning,
Dead Reckoning might even be down there as the 3rd worst for me, because I think
it was
the story of that one wasn't that great either, and it's because the stupid entity concept is not a good villain.
Yeah, you need an actual villain.
And so like, and then of course it has to carry over in this film too, because it was a 2-parter, so to speak. So I mean, I think that's one of the weak parts of this is, again, you have this bad villain, not a good antagonist for Ethan Hunt, because it's a freaking computer.
I agree. Although the premise, though, very, very real and could actually happen.
That's true. That's true.
But I agree with you. Yeah.
And so there's that. And then it's also like you were talking about the heavy exposition, because like first half of this movie, like nothing happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? Why are we doing this? Now, all that being said, I do give him props for the ambition to almost tie it all together. I mean, and I love like the callback to the guy that's there in the remote island close to Alaska, and he's the programmer from the very first movie, and it's really the actor. Yeah, and they got the same guy, and that he was great in those scenes, and thought like that didn't feel out of place. That felt like very plausible. And so like there was a couple times where there's now the one where the one guy was his name, son from the first movie, the guy that was in
Shea Wiggum. Yeah.
Like that.
I don't remember that the character's name in it, but that's the actor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that was kind of dumb, but
Yeah, because he's supposed to be John Voight from the first movie.
yeah, John Voight's son for the first movie.
Yeah, that was strange.
They had different last names and like all this stuff.
Yeah, that
like,
was
just like
yeah.
But I think some of that minus that one, some of the other things like that, like the guy and the programmer and drawing a blank on a few others, but there was a couple times where there's interesting things like that like felt organic. And was the other thing was the fact that the reason entity existed was the thing he stole back in.
Oh, the rabbit's foot from MI3. Yeah.
And I was like, that was cool. Like that concept is cool. So it's like they had some good ideas there. Mm-hmm. Just didn't need to be 3 hours long, I think is the problem.
No, and and
then how many times every time every time they were like, but that's what the entity wants. And every time they would say the entity and you're just like, I
know.
It just didn't work.
No, also, but do you know what I mean with the dialogue? Not just the exposition, but the way they talk was just, it got so annoying because it was like people just like, it was like they had to have everyone in the scene, especially with this, I think the most when it was the president and all of her people around her. Like they just, it's like they had to like go around to each person and just like say a line, then say a line, then say a line to each person. And it felt extremely forced and not natural at all. And that was frustrating.
It was great to see, what's the name from Severance in there?
Tremel Tillman. He was amazing in this.
Yes. But was the
Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso also in this? She was.
Yes.
She should have kept her British accent. That was very strange that she was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to her, the way she talks, but like it was very weird to hear her have an American accent.
Yes, but then, yes. Well, Sydney Cole Alexander was one of the helicopter pilots.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
But it looked like her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And I had to confirm. I forgot to confirm it.
Few Severance people.
Yep. So that was like a second, and I was like, "Telling's there," but it's hard. It was hard to tell. But she's got those big eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
and you didn't really see her smile though.
No.
Yeah.
But she had the helmet on, so it was like I was like, "Is that her?" But then it was such a brief moment.
And the way she talked was not like
the same.
Severance at all. Yeah.
So then, and I was like, I need to check later, and I forgot, and I just checked.
Yeah, she's awesome. Natalie from the board. Yeah.
Well, she's not. She talks for the board, but she's
Natalie.
I don't think she's on the board.
No. Oh, maybe you never know.
We'll see. Season 3.
Yeah.
Counting down.
I know.
Need a 2-year counter?
If it is 2 years, we'll see.
Unless there's like a strike or another pandemic, I think it'll be 2 years. I don't think it's gonna be 3 years.
Yeah, I hope it comes sooner than. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, not terrible, but also not the best.
No.
But yeah.
The other one I wanted to mention that was really effective was, even though it was very long, but the when he was in the submarine, the tension was really great in that.
Oh yeah, the underwater stuff was awesome.
Which obviously is one of the set pieces we've mentioned, but
I guess we didn't talk about the two action sequences. The parts that were actually good.
We don't have. I mean, there's always those in every.
Yeah,
that's kind of like the main focus of all these movies.
Yeah, they find something that he's going to do, and then because he does it for real. Because then, also the thing fighting on the biplanes, stuff, and it always looks so ridiculous because like Tom Cruise is really doing all this crap, and it's not. It's not green screened. It's not.
You can tell because of his face, his skin flapping in his hair. It's like
he's really him up there.
Yeah. I'm guessing though the way they do it is it just like he's like he has like a bungee cord and they just like paint that out in CG like because they have to have some kind of,
or he has just his parachute on like in there too.
There's no way that's the only thing they.
I mean, you're probably both. They probably both, but
okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know how else. I did see something about just how often he has to switch insurances because everyone just doesn't want to cover him. They're too worried about it.
Too risk averse.
Yeah, which makes sense. But
probably also the amount he wants. Like if you're right, like not just like $1 million policy. It's probably it's really like $1 billion policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. What else you got? What else, how much other stuff you got?
That's my only thing for this week. We're also recording early, so yeah, I don't have anything else.
Well,
I'll have more next week because there's actually a decent amount of shows that just released that I'm going to check them out and at least somewhat and kind of rapid fire through some. So I'm going to have a decent amount next week for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll cover a few more then that I watched. I watched Overcompensating, which is on Amazon.
Okay. That was one of the ones I was,
You're going to check out?
I was going to, yeah.
This follows Benny, a football player, as he struggles to accept his sexuality in college, finding himself overcompensating as he tries to appear as something he's not. This wasn't too bad. I didn't finish it, but I might go back.
How much did you watch?
I watched at least probably 4 episodes.
They released all of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all dropped at once. The lead and then his like quote unquote first girlfriend, because he's technically gay. The guy, basically guy's gay, but like he's obviously doesn't want to come out, and he hadn't, and so then he kind of but the reality is those two leads, they have great chemistry, and so they become friends, so to speak, more than they are dating, and they kind of try to, but and he's still trying to date other girls. He's still not, like, at least so far, but
right.
And there is some funny moments, and I think it's, it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's not bad. So that's why I watched some. But then when there's some other stuff that filled the holes, like gaps of time, I was like, well, maybe I'll come back to this. But so that's on Amazon, Overcompensating. Also watched Lego Masters season 5.
Nice.
Started
Didn't even know
last week.
Back. Okay.
They kicked it off with Star Wars themed first episode,
sick,
which was awesome. Except for the reality, the builds weren't as impressive as previous things around Star Wars. They made them have to build part of a planet. Like they basically gave them like half a dome and had to build almost kind of like a, I don't know. But it was fine. But it was just like not the coolest Star Wars thing to be able to make. And then the second episode, I watched the first 2. They had them build wedding cakes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And
what is this on Hulu? What is this on?
Yeah, okay. Hulu or Disney Plus at this point. Cause
it's Disney right now.
They're slowly integrating all this Hulu stuff.
Okay.
Notice my Apple TV now starts to default opening Disney Plus for the Hulu content and not Hulu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. But anyway, Lego Masters always great. Will Arnett hosting is always great.
Yeah. Since we started this pod, you've been talking about this show. Yeah, you were.
I enjoy it. Obviously,
yeah. Maybe I'll check it out. Well, I still have never checked it out.
Oh, you've never watched any of it?
No.
Oh, it's kind of like it feels very similar to the British baking, whatever the British baking show, where like everyone there is rooting for everyone else.
Cool.
But they have to eliminate somebody. So it's like this very like feel good like camaraderie together in general on the teams, and then anytime, basically, especially as it goes on, when someone gets eliminated, like everyone else is crying because they've all become friends, because everyone's there again. Now they've done, because it's season 5, and he's, of course, the cheesiness of Will Arnett, but I love it. Like, it's funny, but it's like, he's like, yeah, it's season 5 and we have upped the ante on the twists. He's like, see, and then he picks up like Book of Twists, kind of thing. He's like, that kind of thing. Fox demanded it. And then both episodes they did something they hadn't done before on a little bit of twist on like the game mechanic of what everyone's doing.
Yeah. Okay.
So they are trying some little new things to kind of make it change it up a little bit, but
all right.
I especially as it goes along, because it's interesting also to see a lot of times there's some strong builders in the beginning, but to see even the people grow through the process of like the game, like seeing them get better at like these big builds, because I don't know, most people probably don't have like, oh, let me sit down for 10 hours or 12 hours and
Right.
and do a build and have every piece imaginable that I'd ever want. So like there's a learning curve there, I think, and to see the people that like ramp up with that really quick, and by the end of the season, like when you're just down to like only 4 teams left, and like the stuff they're building is ridiculous. But the beginning
sure.
the stuff's like decent, but like it's still impressive. But yeah, so
Okay.
anyway, they're fun, I think they're fun to watch. Now it gets a little heavy-handed with the commercial breaks because they still have those built in, even though you're watching it without. So like, it's like the build up, and it's like, will they do this? And then it's like, you know, and then like, but then it does it again because you're watching without commercials.
Yeah.
Streaming. So
Yeah.
it's
that's one
of those things that gets a little annoying. That part.
any reality shows like that too. Yeah.
All right, but that's on Hulu or Disney Plus. Lego Masters season 5. The last thing I'll talk about is Sirens on Netflix.
This is another one I was going to.
I watched all of this,
Oh, all right.
which is like
5. I think it was 5.
yeah, it's a limited series. I'll just read the synopsis. Devon is concerned about her sister's unhealthy relationship with her new boss. So this stars Megan Fahey, which I've always liked her. What was it? The Bold Type was the first thing I watched. She was a TV show for a couple seasons that she was in, and she was like the supporting, like there was the lead character, and then like she had 2 best friends, and she was one of the best friends. Which I always thought she was good in that, and then of course in White Lotus season 2, she was in that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But then she's the lead in this, and she's good in this. Amelia Alcock, who is
From House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon season 1, because she played the young Tarnier, whatever her name is, and Rhaenyra. That's
Is it Rhaenyra?
Yeah, young Rhaenyra.
Or is that the other one?
No, I can't remember.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
Yeah, I think it's young Rhaenyra. She plays. And she was good. She's good in this too. And then Julianne Moore, and then Kevin Bacon, and then even Glenn Howerton.
Yeah, that was the main reason why I wanted to watch it.
Yeah, he's kind of nothing in this though. I mean, he's got some like he's
not like Dennis from It's Always Sunny.
No.
Okay.
But I thought this was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was.
What is it actually about?
So
I know it's like sisters, right?
So yeah, Megan Fahey and Millie Alcock play sisters.
Yeah.
But it's kind of around this. And I think it's based on a play. I think there was a play. It wasn't a book, but it was a play. But it's she's thinks that her sister's kind of in this cult with this other lady that's a super wealthy lady, and she's there as her assistant, but like so she goes to try to like get her out, and but then you kind of learn there's more there, and then there's this little undertone of like there is something supernatural kind of that, but it's like I would say by the end it's kind of like all these women have it, including because Julianne Moore plays the like wealthy older lady, and where there's different times where things happen that like, and they're like kind of unexplainable, but it's like really subtle and not too much that it never seems like it's like, oh, there's magic, it's never like that. But yeah, I think overall it was, I mean, kind of like there's definitely it's like rich people versus like, very poor people and that kind of thing. And like a little bit of that dynamic. So,
okay.
But yeah, it was fun. It was interesting, fun, and decent. So I enjoyed it. Also, just thinking of Megan Fahey, she has another film that just came out a month or two ago in theaters where it's like the kind of like a suspense horror where she gets it's like Drop is what it's called, but it's like someone airdropped her like and it's like she's getting threatened to.
Oh, I didn't know she was in that. Yeah,
she's the lead in that too.
Oh, okay. I was interested in that movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to check it out.
Yeah.
There's a decent amount of movies. I might, I don't know. There's a few movies I need to watch soon too.
Mm-hmm.
Like ones that are actually like on either streaming or VOD now. So.
Yep. Yeah.
Like Centers is about to be, I think. And
Centers is another one I didn't get to see in theater.
Yeah,
I definitely want to watch
it. Yeah.
Drop is another one.
Drop. Yep.
Yeah, I do want to watch that. Even though it got better, not as good reviews. The new one that was on Apple TV last weekend. I just haven't watched it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna check it out.
The people in it and stuff involved. I still
Yeah,
wanna
good
watch it.
cast. Yeah,
What's that called?
Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's offer this week.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know. It's always up in the air. I'm traveling all next week, so it's why we record this a little early. We'll see. Sometimes I end up having more time to watch stuff. Sometimes I don't. So we'll see how that pans out. But
okay.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it's time for Based or Waste.
All right. Welcome back to Based or Waste, the internet game show. Where we go on Rotten Tomatoes and we see what's trending, TV shows or movies, and I pick 10 of them and golf is the audience score, and Josh is going to guess if they're good or bad, if they're based or waste. So we are now back to TV. Pretty good list this week.
okay.
I believe you will be familiar with all these, so should be good.
I better or else.
Or else what? We'll see how. Actually, you did really well last week. I don't remember how you did the last TV one we did, but
Yeah, I don't remember either.
yeah,
I know in the recent month or this year, even I think we were talking about I was doing better with TV or movies now.
Movies, yeah.
But then when we started this, I was doing better in TV.
yeah. So originally you were, yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
How the turns have tabled.
That's right. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of these you've even watched.
Okay.
First one.
That sometimes makes it harder because then I have my opinion.
Well,
versus,
that's true. Yeah. So like the first one, Bad Thoughts, season 1. We
Right.
talked about this.
I'm gonna say waste.
No, it is based. It's close to the line. It's a 66 right now.
Yeah. So
But-
I would give it a little lower than that.
Yeah. I have not watched. I probably won't after you talked about it. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. Poker Face season 2.
Based.
Yes.
I have not watched any season 2 yet.
Me neither. I don't think I finished season 1, actually. This is
I
a
might not have
63.
either.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, but yeah,
Yeah, this is...
that's a little lower than I thought.
Yeah, I
it'd be.
know. 63, yeah. I don't know. Stuff that just came out, though,
Takes a little time, so
and it'll fluctuate. Yeah, so we'll see how these
because
move.
season 2's not over yet, unless they dropped them all.
No.
Yeah, so
No, they did like a couple and then week to week. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why I put this one in because I think we already did this. Oh, maybe just as an update. The Last of Us season 2. Oh yeah, now that it's finished, where do you think it's sitting now?
I think it's probably still based because I don't think it's below 55 or whatever it is that they go. But
Yeah, it's around 55 normally. No, this is a waste at 38.
what?
Yeah. This is
Wow.
Which I mean, we talked about it. We covered it.
I wouldn't say it was that bad though. Come on, guys.
Depends on the episode.
Right, but if you're looking as a whole,
Yeah, I know. As a whole, yeah, it should be a lot.
If you have, because I'd say at least 2 episodes in there,
Yeah.
were like 9s. Yeah, like they were really good. And so if you get 2 out of, there was only 7.
Yeah, but maybe it lowered a lot after this finale. People were mad.
Feeling like
I bet it. I don't know.
But even the episodes that weren't that great weren't they weren't that low. Like they were still better than like half the crowd that's out there.
True, but there was some nonsense
Yeah.
in this season that didn't make any sense, especially with the finale. We talked about it. Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I would never say
As
that
a whole, though. Yeah.
as well, even just taking it now, they're probably weighing against the previous season and doing stuff like that, which is a different way of rating things.
Yep.
I wouldn't rate things that way. I would take a step back and be like, how does this compare as a broadly? And I would no, it's not. There's no way
Well, and then just like with these other ones, a lot of these when they first come out or when the season ends, the score on Rotten Tomatoes, that's when it jumps the most. You know, it moves around a lot. So I don't remember where this was at originally, because I think we did this on Based or Waste when it first came out.
I'm sure it was, if it was just after like episode 1 or 2, I'm sure it was based because it's like,
I think it was. Yeah.
anyway.
All right. Sirens, season 1.
Let's say based.
Yeah. 65.
Yeah, it's lower than I thought it'd be, but still.
Yeah, a lot of these are kind of around the 60s or 50. Yeah, kind of on the line. All right. Murderbot, season 1.
Based.
Yes, this is 80 right now. I need to watch more of it and see how it is. How far are you in it now?
I mean, I was caught up until the new episode came out yesterday.
Okay.
So I haven't watched that one. Otherwise, I was caught up.
All right. We're halfway through. Yes. Okay. This is another one you just mentioned. Overcompensating, season 1.
I'll still say based on this.
Yeah, 78.
Yeah.
Is it that good though?
See, to me, like, I would say I think Sirens is a better thing than that.
Right.
But like,
And this
I would
is-
I'd flip flop them.
So this
Like,
should be like a 60 something.
Like I would maybe give that a 6 and Sirens a 7. Like if I was like rating a 10 scale.
Okay. All right. This next one is one that I am going to check out, probably talk about next week, is Duster, season 1. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I mean I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I'm familiar.
J.J. Abrams is involved in it.
Sawyer from Lost is the lead.
And Keith David. Well, Keith David's awesome. Always like him.
I'll say based.
Yes, 84.
Okay.
Also, it's just cool, like
Looks cool.
getaway drivers,
Yeah, it looks cool.
1970s. Yeah, cool vibe. Yeah.
I think I actually have it downloaded to watch the first episode, like potentially.
Cool.
My Vision Pro. The last one I flew to Denver and back, and I just didn't get around to watching it much. So.
Well, it's not like there's like a shortage of things to watch.
Correct.
All right. This next one I put, I think because the whole show finally just finished and it had several seasons. Big Mouth on Netflix. Like this just wrapped up.
I'll say based.
Yeah. 73. I think this got worse as it went though, because I had stopped watching it.
Yeah, I mean,
like I remember liking it, and then I was like,
a lot of people liked it in the beginning, so that's why I kind of figured it didn't. It might, even if it got worse, it wouldn't have. But,
yeah.
But I guess you never know.
All right, this is a new documentary that just came out, or docuseries, I guess. I don't know. Pee-wee as himself.
Based.
Yes, 88. So this seems pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard people like this.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it, but
hasn't there already been a documentary of him? Like, what's different about this one?
I don't think there was one before.
No,
this one he officially.
Oh, okay.
And it was because he knew he was dying, but he didn't tell anybody.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So he like wanted to make this and
that makes
hired
sense.
hired a crew to make it. Win a company or whatever. Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the Michael J. Fox one that was kind of recent. That was on Apple, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did one of. Although, I mean, I Michael J. Fox has had to deal with his for like 20 years now. He's had to deal with Parkinson's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But anyway, yeah, it reminded me of that. All right, our final one also just came out. 9 Perfect Strangers, season 2. Did you watch this show?
I never watched the first season.
Okay, me neither.
And there was one of those that like when it hit, I was like, oh, maybe I'll check it out. And then just kind of didn't get around to it. At the time, it felt like it was a knockoff of White Lotus.
Yes,
Because
it does.
And
just trying to get a bunch of actors in just a random exotic location or something. Yeah.
I'll say based.
No, this is a waste. 55. Maybe the first season is rated better. I didn't check.
Yeah. Right on the line.
Yeah. 55. It's about, I still don't know. We talk about this. I don't really know what where it changes to like fresh or rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, like the score.
Maybe 55. 55 is...
Yeah, but sometimes it'll be that, and it'll have either the fresh or the trash can for like it has the little symbol next to it. I don't know. I think, again, my working theory right now is that it's the amount of people that have rated it, because it seems like if it's like something that's been rated a lot, I don't know, that has an influence on it. But anyway, all right, that has been Based or Waste. Tune in next week. Also, play along at home. Forgot to mention that. And let us know. Yeah, let us know
how you did.
Yeah, if you're a TV or a movie person.
All right, Andor Season 2, Episode 1 through 3. An undercover mission, a sanctuary threatened, a Chandrilian wedding, a chilling Imperial plan, Cassian caught in a rebel turf war, Mon's wedding woes, the Ferric survivors face inspection, and time is running out for everyone. That's all three synopses thrown together.
The synopsis for the episodes and the titles of the episodes are always very interesting for this show, because it's not typical Star Wars at all. But the show's not, well, in some ways it's very Star Wars.
It's
but also very different.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's very well, it's very not the sci-fi part of Star Wars.
Yes.
It's like way more just like the political
espionage
part of Star Wars. And yeah, it's so good and great to watch. So but yeah. So what do you what are your general thoughts of these 3 episodes before we...
Yeah. Well, we already talked about this some on the pod. And I'll just mention again, I revisited season 1 because I didn't really like it when it first came out. But then kind of understood what they were doing, and then really liked the first season when I rewatched it. And then going to this season, I was looking forward to it just because like leading into Rogue One, which I love Rogue One. And I think these first 3 episodes are great. Definitely slow, but the first season was like this too to start out, but then it gets going, and I was kind of more expecting it this time for it that way, but kind of surprised how much the focusing on this wedding though was interesting, but it's still cool though. Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
No, I think it's great. I mean, I loved season 1. I did not revisit it like you did. But I loved, season 1, and then I think this was, picked right up where it needed to. And maybe, I mean, it's interesting because it starts out with a great action sequence, but then you're right, like it does like take a little bit of time then after that to kind of build. But I think it's taking its time to kind of reestablish not wanting to just jump in too hard, because it is a more complex show.
Oh yeah,
right?
Very complex. Yeah,
and so you don't want to, from a character standpoint, you don't want to like whiplash people that haven't like didn't revisit season 1 and don't remember it as well, and then just so I think they wanted to kind of let's ease into it a little bit, and so, but I think good start, 3 episodes, but yeah, we'll get into talk about the different story arcs and these 3 seasons. 3 because they dropped them in sections of 3, so we're going to cover them in those sections. So there'll be 4 episodes of our podcast.
Yes, covering
the full season.
And then I'm going to definitely watch Rogue One.
Yes,
again for sure, because I'm going to want to Jump right into that.
Yeah, and
I'm sure.
I haven't seen Rogue One in years either. And,
Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah,
and I always loved that film. That was
oh yeah,
that was great. It's up there with one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
definitely. Yeah. So I wanted to say, even though this is slower, these first 3 episodes, like, and I know it'll get even crazier as we go, but like the character growth from our main characters in this, even not only from just what all they go through in season 1, but even these first 3 right off the bat with Cassian, Bix, and even Mon Mothma, I would say, is just so well done. I mean, we've talked a lot already about, like, especially the dialogue in this, Tony Gilroy, and the way he does this kind of thing is just so, it's very specific. Again, at times doesn't feel like Star Wars, but then he makes it work within the world of Star Wars so well. And it just feels really smart. It's funny. It's almost like the opposite of Mission Impossible. You know, like how they did that, because it's like you're saying, like jumping into this and like letting you ease back into this world. Like they approach this the complete opposite, instead of just like throwing all these flashbacks and exposition, and you know, like, so this is just very smartly done compared to Mission Impossible.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, we open with Cassian and the TIE Fighter heist. It's like a great action sequence. Also, even just, I love how, you know, it's 1 year later from season 1. They just drop you in the middle of this thing where obviously he's been there probably for months, infiltrating and working his way into this position just to steal this TIE Fighter, like a test version of TIE Fighter.
Yeah, I don't know. What is the model of this one? I
don't know.
I don't
it's
know.
Like a prototype of something.
Yeah.
I love that. And love how, like, it's funny, like I was thinking about, like, it feels so almost some ways like, felt like very James Bondish. You know, like he's like in somewhere undercover, and then he goes to leave and he steals something to leave, and like he struggles to use it because it's like some, you know, like some contraption that someone made, one of the bad guys made, and that's what this felt like. But also loved all the details inside the TIE Fighter, like you really, like how things control and everything, and just the set design there is crazy.
Yeah, we already talked about that, like how amazing this show looks, but like, yeah, how practical, even though obviously there's still a ton of CG that they have to do for this show, but like it looks so real and feels like original Star Wars, which is good, and just like Rogue One did, because of where this takes place in the timeline. But yeah, down to like very subtle details like that, like the controls in this TIE Fighter.
Yeah, and then the kind of gets out and has to fight some other, and like it's really cool, like chase scene with him and the other TIE fighters, and just showing that he's coming into good pilot. But that's good opening, and then he takes the TIE Fighter to like some moon somewhere, to like, he's supposed to pass it off to some other guy, and he gets jumped by a bunch of random small group of rebels. And I would say this, I think, is the weakest part.
I agree.
These 3 episodes. I understand, like, I like the idea.
Yeah, I didn't really like these characters.
Yeah, I like the idea of it.
Right.
Like seeing like, oh, it's so disorganized still, the rebellion, that like not everybody even knows who's what. There's no like real command. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So to see that these guys don't even trust him, and then they take him captive, like all that stuff kind of makes sense. But down, like, love the Roxy rules instead of the rock, paper, scissors. Like, thought that was funny and clever and fun, but in general, like these characters are kind of like, but
and it's also just because everyone that writes on the show and creates these characters does it so well and to such a high degree. So then it's like seeing these that are not so great, it really stands out because all these characters, our main ones, are so good and so complex.
do you think you start to see in this a little bit of his leadership coming through, where he starts to
In the first 3,
well, specifically in this like setting here with these guys?
when he's on this, yeah, a little bit. I mean, because he takes over and kind of wrangles them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. But they're also just a chaotic group of people, and he definitely brings some order and structure, or tries to at least with this group.
So that was good. Yeah, mention like he kind of de-escalates some of the situations, and which he was a little bit of a hothead earlier in season 1, and so it's a little growth on his part, I think, too, from Cassian's part. Eventually he escapes, and then as he's leaving, you figure out that's was the moon that he was on was I thought it was in the
I don't
notes.
know.
I thought it was in the notes. It's it's like something that's like a known moon that we've known before in Star Wars.
Yavin?
It might have been Yavin, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I know Yavin's really important to the season, but
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I thought I wrote it down, but
It's not Gorman, right? Because that's
no, it's not Gorman. Yeah. No.
Okay.
It's not, no. Yeah, and then you failed to mention 2 leads that we see some growth. Like,
oh well, yeah, Luthen is a
no,
huge one.
Yeah, but no. Here you have Cyril and Dedra.
Oh, of course. How could I forget?
Yeah, they're kind of like other main characters here.
Yeah, that's true. They are. Yeah,
they're our imperial power couple.
it's more so her, and he just.
Yeah, but hit yourself to the right person, right?
Because she rises up a lot through.
Yeah.
But
anyway, the first scene we get with her is this strategy meeting with we get Director Krennic, and they're talking about
awesome
the Empire's plans for Gorman, and they need the resources. They have the guys that do the propaganda.
Yeah, that was interesting.
They showed the film they made. I love that.
Oh yeah,
like the marketing video for Gorman. That was hilarious.
It's also it's really interesting that it's like all based on. Is it what the spiders produce is like so valuable?
Well, that's what
right.
They make fabric out of it, and that's what that's what Gorman cares about. But then there's evidently like another resource below.
That's right. Yeah,
that they need for I assume the Death Star, but like they don't say that. They don't say the Death Star.
No, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Krennic is awesome anyway. He was great in Rogue One, and I was very happy to see him because I'm like, he's got to be in it at some point.
Yeah.
And so I was happy to, just like with some other people like Saw Gerrera, which, I mean, we see him back in season 1. But
yep.
Yeah, it was great to see him. He also has just a sick outfit. Krennic does.
Yes. And then we get then we see that Dedra Meero and Cyril Karn are in some kind of relationship because they're living together. Yeah. That was not that way before in season 1. But like I said, are they there for? I mean, to me, it seems like it's like almost like power couple kind of situation where they're just there to service both each other from like a political position in the empire than they are like
Yes, not an actual
romantic.
relationship. Yeah, no.
But we get this awesome scene with Cyril's mom showing up for dinner,
Oh yeah,
and they have the mother-in-law over for dinner basically, and it was awesome to see Dedra put her in her place.
yeah. That was crazy and unexpected.
Yeah,
That she actually did that.
but also it was interesting to get the backstory about her, and she was like kind of in the Imperial's version of an orphanage for Dedra, and she grew up in that, and so but that was pretty good. I like that, and that scene was well played and acted by this just like you felt the family dynamics, you felt it all there, even though it was in this weird setting in some kind of in Coruscant. That's kind of the gist of they stick Dedra on this like task force that's supposed to figure out what they can do, work around the Gorns, or if they need to basically kill them all and take their planet, but they don't want to do that unless they have to.
Yeah.
Then we get Bix. First to have Bix with like a nightmare trauma thing, just kind of crazy. She's got PTSD from the torture they did on her.
Yeah, this was my other note that I wanted to, like, this whole dream she has is very strange and seems out of place. And even later, when we talk about it, like, still seemed kind of strange and out of place to me, but it still was effective though.
Yeah. And it's hard to tell right in this part. We know because we've seen a little bit more, but if where she's at, like if she's just hiding, staying low, and doesn't want to be part of the rebellion anymore, or if they're just all the shots in this planet wherever they are, what is it called?
Where they're farming,
Mina Rao.
Yeah,
and like just looks pretty, like all the wheat fields and these like whatever harvest machines, and like it's just again, set design, art direction, a lot of stuff is really cool in this.
Yeah, the show just looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like, and it did in season 1. I was like, even more so, I think, in this.
Yeah,
in the second season, it's crazy.
They took what they learned in season 1 and they upped the ante.
Yeah.
And then we see the Brasso and and the robot.
Oh yeah.
We're also there. And the Empire comes to like, I guess like check on the planet. I mean, they
seemed like a normal
doing like a
routine thing. They
census or
just do.
something like checking to see, and so all of the people, Bix and Brazo, and they're all there illegally. Like they don't have like papers to be on that planet, but they're working. Of course, things come to a head when the head guy from the Empire tries to basically rape Bix, and she fights back hard. And of course, as this is happening, and then Brazo gets like abducted, kind of like taken from where he was working, and just as then like Cassian comes back, and that distracts them enough that then they do try to get out from the Empire soldiers, but then Brazo gets killed in the process. He doesn't make it. He's on a speeder bike and gets shot.
Yeah. But this is like also a great moment, because this is like Cassian and Bix reuniting after a pretty long time, right?
At least a year.
Yeah. Seemed like it was longer than a year even, but I don't know.
Yeah, probably more because I don't think they weren't together at the end of season 1.
No.
So, well, I also think it's interesting to kind of show, like, you see the oppression from the control from the Empire, and you really see that kind of in this storyline of
Yes.
this planet, and then we see it again with Gorm, like in this next section, but but then also let's say the casualties of like just the people in between, like when this, you're trying to do something and rebel against the evil, there's people that maybe don't even want to be involved and still are going to be casualties of that. And of course, Brazo was involved, but
it's just going from the very first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, knowing what was done, what all happened, to get these plans, and basically the start of the movie. And Rogue One does such a great job of showing like you talked about, casualties and the
sacrifices made.
Sacrifice, yeah. And then now Andor, it's going to be even crazier than getting even more in depth and perspective on that with this now too. It's just awesome.
Yep. But yeah, that's kind of, then Cassian, he says reunited, but then they obviously can't stay there, so they got to leave.
Yep.
But, yeah, and then we have Mom Martha's storyline, where her daughter is getting married for more like alliance reasons, kind of. But she's dealing with other stuff, like her one friend, his investments haven't gone well, and there's and like her, you can see her having to balance like what she's sacrificing versus trying to save face, like in politically and like even with her family, but then she's like,
Well, yeah, what else she has to do with the Senate, as a responsibility of hers for just in that aspect is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then her one friend, I guess the guy's friend that like kind of almost threatens,
quote unquote friend.
Yeah, well, like he kind of was like a friend in season 1, but then she used him though.
True.
With and so like, and that's why his investments have gone bad. And then he's kind of threatening to maybe speak up about it. So then having to, anyway, but that
does Luthen come in here yet?
He's in and out.
Shows up,
because he brings a present, and
that's right.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like Luthen, like he's in these couple episodes, but he's not like
not that much.
Not much, no. But then they do at the end, like basically has her friend killed, right? Like the guy that's like,
oh yes,
that she met, like and that's where this kind of all culminates. Like, well, she has a scene with her daughter where she's like, you don't have to do this. The scenery in some of this is crazy. Like they get another set, but like where they filmed in some mountains and they're like climbing up just to do some ceremony is crazy cool. But then it all culminates with the wedding, and then they have this like dance party afterwards, which was really cool and really well done. But yes, like something you've never seen in Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
It's like, especially kind of like EDM music.
That's what I was going to mention. The score also, which we already talked about, Nicholas Bertel.
It's actually amazing. It's not Nicholas Bertel in this. Season 2? Not in season 2, no.
I thought it was both seasons.
No.
I'll have to look and see who it is.
He's only on season 1.
Oh, okay.
They had some other guys.
Well, anyway, whoever did it, it's so cool to experiment out of it. You're right. Yeah, it's like EDM sounding, but
and the way they cut back and forth, they kind of do like they're cutting between elements, but you kind of keep coming back to her like dancing, and
yeah,
and it's good.
Yeah.
But she's like, she takes some drugs, doesn't she?
Seems like it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something.
I don't know if we
There's
see
something
it,
that-
but yeah, it
it's
seems like
something-
she is. Yeah.
And she was just like, yeah, she's just at her wit. Like, this has been a lot, and they're marrying her daughter off.
She's just letting it all out on the dance floor.
But also, it's an amazing scene. It's great.
It is, yeah.
The
Also, just like you said, just looks amazing. The way it's shot and the look of it, and yeah,
yeah, and then it's just the scene, and to have to like know that they have to kill her friend. That
mm-hmm.
yeah, and yeah, that's right. She kind of breaks down, like crying,
Yeah.
like kind of off camera. I mean, we see her, but like, so no one else sees her.
Yeah.
And that's like first time we've seen that, how much it's taking a toll on her to have to sneak around and kind of always have like her political hat on and
Oh yeah,
playing the game.
Yep.
But yeah, the actress is, she was great in season 1, but like, especially in these 3 episodes where she's got a lot to do. Yeah, she's fantastic.
yeah. I mean, she's been doing it since the prequels. I want to say. I think that's when this actress first was, because it's like because they did a really good job with the casting of her, because she looks so much like from the original movies from the 70s.
Yep.
And like, yeah, it looks like it's like her, and you're like, well, it obviously isn't her, the same actress, but yeah. So I think she's been doing it since the prequels. Whenever, I'm assuming, I don't know, Attack of the Clones is probably, because that's when a lot of the political stuff gets thrown in, which is unfortunately the worst movie of the prequels. But I think that's when she shows up first. I don't think she was in Phantom Menace, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's overall the stuff that goes down at these first 3 episodes.
I know as the season goes, like, we'll have even more to say, just because of, everything leading up to, because like, this is it. This is the timeline. This is everything leading up right to Rogue One, and then right to A New Hope. So it's like, it's going to get crazy.
Yes, it is. Well, as usual, let us know if you have any thoughts on these first 3 episodes of Andor, and
Yeah.
or anything else we discussed, or whatever else you want to share. You can do that by emailing us at feedback@screentimepod.com, or leave a comment or DM us. You can follow, like, and subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. all
And
that.
we'll be doing 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, next week we're going to cover 4, 5, and 6 of Andor season 2. Yeah, so follow along. And if you like, you can follow each of us on Instagram. I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next time.